Hey there, everyone. This is your girl, Quanisha Green, the founder and chief activator of the Black Women Rise movement and your Black Woman CEO coach. So it says here that Facebook is building an audience for me. So I will just wait a second and let Facebook do its thing. So some of you are getting notified and can jump on live here. Hey there. Hey, Fatima. Just say hi. I see Fatima joined and some other folks. So I wanted to do this late evening chat. I actually need to get ready to go to bed. Hey Fatima, how are you? But I wanted to talk about a topic that came up multiple times today in my personal life, but also in my client calls. And the question of the day is your life too chaotic for you to follow your purpose? Right? And then I'm doing something special, which is already in the title. I wanted you to watch me fix my life in 90 days. Right? So, hey, Fatima, how about you? And for those who are jumping in, say hi, so I know who you are. And so, how did this topic come up? So today I had a coaching call, and it's actually someone that I know for a while, and we've entered a coaching relationship. And one of the main issues, she said, she was like, Quanisha, I feel like I'm living my life where I'm reacting to everything and that I just can't take control, right? And because of that, she's not showing up well for her business. And she was like, if I just had time to think, I can do business planning, I can figure out how to make consistent money. And she has some money coming in, and she has a contract, all these things. Hey there. So you may be having the same problem. Are you in maybe the startup phase, right? That first 1 to 3 years, maybe you brought in some income in your business, but you're not making consistent money. If that's you, just type yes into the chat. There's no shame, right? Right, making consistent money. And my stuff has been dipping up and down from the same issue. The chaos that is in my personal life is impacting my business. So how about you? Are you struggling with that? Is it that you can't even work on your business, say even in launching it because of your personal life, or you've been in business, right? You've made some money, but you can't make it consistently because you're not tending to your personal life. It's not allowing you to show up. So why does this happen? There's a couple of reasons, and this is what I told her. So one thing that she said was that I can't stop reacting to life, right? So that was the first thing I told her, that one, in order to change this, you have to really take control. You have to take 100% responsibility for your life. Jack Canfield, in one of my favorite books, actually it's a book that saved my life, The Success Principles. Have any of you read The Success Principles by Jack Canfield? He has a formula. So in his chapter that says take 100% responsibility for your life, he has a formula it totally blew my mind. It's very simple. He says events plus your reaction equal the outcome. So we have it. So it's E plus O equals R. So your events, which are the circumstances in life, plus your reaction equal the outcome, right? So many times we can't control all the events that are happening in our life, right? You can't control a sick parent or a tornado coming by, right? Or, a snowstorm that came here, right? But what we can always control in our life are the outcomes. The reactions, right? How we choose to respond to the events. And so that changes the outcome, right? So the variable that's always under our control is our personal actions that will change the outcome. So if we desire a certain outcome, of course we can try to adjust the events, but many times there are things that are out of our control. We can take 100% responsibility for our life by controlling our reactions. So one way that I started to help her shift her mindset just about this is to say that she has to take 100% responsibility. She has to say, I have control over my schedule, how I choose to react to my life, and I can change this outcome that I'm experiencing, right? For her, it was stress, feeling overwhelmed, feeling like, things are out of control because she felt she couldn't control her life in a way that she could be proactive instead of reactive, right? So that was number one. The second thing that you can do if your life is chaotic and is impacting you showing up in your business consistently, which would then lead to consistent revenue, is that you have to create an ideal schedule, right? To take the time to sit down and say, let me plan this out when I'm rational, right, and not reacting, and think about how can I balance the priorities in my life so that I can show up for them, right? That's one way to be proactive. And one thing I asked her, she said, well, Quanisha, I have that. I have the ideal schedule, but I'm really having a hard time following it, or I feel like I'm working all the time. And this is what I asked her that I'm going to ask you. If you have done the ideal schedule thing, right? I asked her, I said, did you put in your business activities first, or did you put in your life first? Like your life priorities first? And she was like, oh, I put in my business stuff first, right? So she has a contract with a major client. Then she has the other part of her business that she's working on. And then she was trying to fit all these other aspects of her life in, right? She's part of her church. Her daughters go to ballet and dance. And then she wanted her prayer time and to walk and all these other things like that. Right? So the idea, especially nowadays when we're thinking about being an entrepreneur so that we can have freedom and we can own our time, you want to put in your lifestyle priorities first, even your desired lifestyle priorities, and then figure out, how does my business fit around that? Because your business should be serving your lifestyle, right? So that was her activity. That was part of her homework, is that she had to shift this around, right? She had to put in when she was going to do her morning routine. She had to put in first, when is she going to do her walking? She had to put in when she was planning to spend time with her kids or go grocery shopping and cook. And then it was, because she does have the flexibility in her business, is when are you going to then work on those core business activities that you need to do to make consistent income, right? So how about you? Have you done that backwards? Have you said, oh, these are my business hours, but you haven't taken into consideration your life? I know this walk personally, because the first time I burnt out when I became a full-time entrepreneur was because I was prioritizing my business and my clients, and I didn't put in any self-care. I didn't put in, spending time with my family or my sons, and I burnt out, crashed, like to the point where I had to take a 30-day hiatus, right? So this is why I switched it. You got to put your life in first, your life desires, and then put the business around that. So what do you all think about that? I see folks are watching. What do you think about that idea of your business schedule, your ideal life schedule, having you in it first, and then everything else around that, right? And that's another issue that came up. So while you all are answering, is while we were talking, something kept coming up in her language. Like she would say, oh, it's silly that I want that. Or I was criticizing myself, like, why didn't I think about that? Or why didn't I think to put my life first? There was a lot of self-criticism and judgment, or even thinking that she couldn't negotiate even her schedule with this contractor. And I said, one thing I want you to start doing is writing an intention that says, I honor it, or it is okay to have wants, needs, and desires. And I'm going to honor my wants, needs, and desires. Because something that comes up, particularly with us Black women, because of the way we've been socialized, is that we've been socialized to serve. We've been rewarded to serve. And often because of that strong Black woman image or the mammy image, all these things like that, we tend to put ourselves last, right? And one of the things that she wrote to me in setting up our meeting, she was saying that I don't even know how to ask for help. I don't realize when I need help. And many of us don't until we might be at this point of burnout, right? So if you haven't been showing up for yourself or doing the things that you want, need, and desire to have in your life, you may need to ask yourself this question, right? Of, do you think your wants, desires, and needs are valuable? Should they be honored? Should they be prioritized? And let me put this in the context of what I did for her. I said, do you have any routines that your children need to do regularly? And so she mentioned, yeah, they have a sleep routine, right? Because it helps them sleep well. And I said, well, why do you honor that? And she said, well, because I love them and they're crazy if they don't have it and all these other things. So how about some of you here? Even if you have a pet and you don't have children, right? Some pets have routines, and we will go out of our way to honor those routines for our children, our pets, even sometimes at work, right? We make sure that we follow these protocols and routines because they set out. And I said, so if she knew that she needed time to think, right? She needed time to think. Then I said, why are you not creating that for yourself? Right? So if you know so that your children don't, even if you want to do it in service of your children, I said, if you know your children, you don't want them to have the experience of a frazzled mother and having a half an hour to think about the grocery list, right? Or to write your to-dos for the next day, or to look at your calendar so you're not missing things. If that would help you show up better, why are you not putting it in your calendar? And she was like, oh, that makes sense, right? So I said, the same way you love and you nurture and you care for your children because it's important, right? that's what we have to do for ourselves. That's our way of honoring ourselves, by doing these things, right? By having that routine, by making sure that we implement it. And so first, and it's not really a priority thing of like love yourself then love everybody else. That's not what I'm saying, although that is important. But the same consideration or honor that you would give to a routine that you have for your babies, you can also extend that same consideration and love for yourself. And so if that is difficult for you, write some intentions out, right? That I honor my wants, needs, and desires because I'm worthy, because I'm valuable, right? You deserve, sorry, the alarm went off. You deserve that same consideration. So that's the tip for you. And another tip, right, to help reduce the chaos that will help you show up in your business, that is getting in the way of you honoring this purpose that you have, that you're desiring to fulfill through your business, or that you have been, is to know your priorities and your values, right? So she had many different activities and she didn't want to give any of them up. So, I honored that and I was like, okay, well, let's figure out how to make this work with all your priorities. But I remember another client who wanted to be a speaker, wanting to work on her business, but she was on all these committees. She was a doctor, she had a doctoral degree, and she was a professor. She was on all these committees that weren't paying her. And I said, okay, so is it more important for you to be on these free committees who are not even paying you to be on them? They're not even considering you as a speaker. Or why don't you take that time, prioritize yourself, pay yourself first, right, by working on your business? Right? Because she was valuing financial freedom, travel, and all these other things that those committee responsibilities didn't fall into. So I said, would you consider, transitioning out of those roles so that you could have that time to focus on the things that you want to do? And she said, you know what, Quanisha, I can do that. I think I will. Right? So I'm not saying give up everything that you're a part of, but once again, when you know your priorities and you know your values, you can start to make decisions about what is showing up in your life, one that's causing the chaos, maybe some things that you can take out or change to reduce it, but is it that maybe there are activities in your life that are no longer serving you? Maybe there are even relationships in your life that are no longer serving you. So you have to make a choice, and that's going to help you reduce the chaos so that you can walk in your purpose. And my last tip for you on this topic is to get support. Right? And there's two ways, or a couple of ways you can get support. One, you can hold yourself accountable through an accountability partner, some public accountability, to say like, hey, maybe you need a self-care buddy, right? Or maybe you need a business buddy that you both are honoring and say you're going to follow your schedule. You can show your walk in your different Facebook groups, right? Or blog about it, about how you're showing up for your business or how you've been doing your prep time, right? Walk your talk and be that example for other people. Another way to get support is having a coach, right? So I've learned some of these things through coaching, and coaching doesn't always have to be you paying a mentor to meet with them every week. It could be, your coach could be a book, right? Getting a book on organizing or decluttering or time management or productivity, right? I have lots of virtual mentors, right? I looked the other day and I have 106 books in my Kindle cloud, right? So I have a lot of mentors and coaches, but I also hire people. So I'm currently working with a hypnotherapist and a coach who's helping me make some mindset shifts and reconsider some of my priorities because my life feels chaotic, right? And helping me to see like where I'm not honoring myself due to some still feelings of unworthiness or lack of self-love and those kind of things that's making chaos show up. And that's not allowing me to fully show up for you all, right? For this business, for Black Women Rise, for the Black Women CEO coaching and programs and all those things like that. And another way you can get support that I wanted to invite you to, and you have the link here in the title of the video, is I actually want you to walk with me on this journey. So this is my vulnerability as strength, transparency. My life right now is chaotic. My technology is is not working. My MacBook is acting up. My phone just got these things, right? Is messing up. If you could see the other side of my camera right now and see my table is ridiculous. My foyer is ridiculous. My bedroom. I haven't done laundry in 14 days or a week. Actually, since what was it, March 3rd. Since I did my talk as Cooks Down, I haven't done laundry, right? I just feel all over the place, right? And one thing to know is if you're feeling crazy, if your mind is all over the place, if you're not showing up, if you're not bringing in consistent revenue, that's a sign that there's probably some chaos in your life that you need to attend to. Right? And what I'm finding is that my chaos attracts more chaos. Like, there even was a call today that my son was acting up, right? And that could be because maybe I'm not as present with him because I'm trying to rush and do some other things. So that actually was the key sign for me today. That was like, my baby is acting up in school. I need to tend to the chaos in my life, not just for my business. Hey, folks are joining. But say hi, because I see there's a couple of folks here, but I can't see your name unless you write something or unless you're a follower, then sometimes I can see your name. But so when that happened today, I was like, that was the last sign for me, other than I've been getting hives, I've been having stomach aches, technology is being chaotic, right? I've been emotional. Like, if you saw my video yesterday, I had to call the hypnotherapist in between sessions because I was like crying. Right? So start to pay attention to who you are in the signs, right? So like one of the questions that it says there's 10 comments. I'm so sorry, you guys. I can't see your comments. I don't know why that is. Let me see if I can. It says there's 10 comments so far, but I can't see it. So I might have to come back later and answer some of your questions one-on-one. But so thank you if you've been answering the questions to the prompt. So actually take a look at your life. And so sometimes we are so disconnected that we don't notice the chaos. So what I want you to do is think about ideally how you would like your life to look like, and then ask yourself, does my life look like that right now? And if it doesn't, there's a disconnect, right? And that means there may be some chaos present that's not allowing you to show up ideally how you would like your life to look like, and it needs some tending to. So one thing I thought about was doing a revival. So when the year started, I did a 7-day revival on Facebook just with some friends, and folks enjoyed it because I felt this need to like stop and breathe and be and stop doing and pay attention. And so I'm doing another revival, but I'm doing it in a structured way with more of the tools that I've used that has saved my life, that has helped me to lose 30 pounds, that's helped me to have jobs created for me, that's helped me to create this business, right? We have like 2,600 people that's like on our page. I've attracted about 3,500 women in the Black Women Rise community, right? Generated about 50 to 60K in different revenue streams over the last 18 months. So I'm sharing the same activities that I've done to tend to myself that has allowed me to have those results in my life, right? And at different points there's been consistencies, but like I said, there's also been breakdowns. And I realized that the breakdowns in my life have happened because I stopped tending to myself consistently in the things that I needed to do to show up well. So I decided that I'm going to have a revival for myself as a way to jumpstart me back into that life where I'm living intentionally every day, right? So that I can have the right things show up in my life, right? And so I would like to invite you to join me. So I'm doing a 21-day revival, and it's a restorative journey, right? And so even if you don't have a business, even if you're just like, hey, I want to get clear on my purpose. And like I said, the way to do that is you got to get clear on your schedule. You got to get clear on your values. You got to get clear on your priorities. You got to get clear on if you're even loving yourself and honoring yourself, right? So over the 21 days, we're going to go through organized activities that's going to help you have that level of presence with yourself, where you can start to articulate these things, really figure out what do you do want, desire, and need, right? To figure out how you're showing up in your life, how are you reacting to things. So if you click the link in the video, it will take you over to the page, and it is a paid challenge, right? Because this is what I know, if you're anything like me, when I don't pay for things, I don't show up well. But it's just $1 a day, right? So I made it very easy, practically free. Think about what you spend $1 on. So is your purpose, is your self-love, is your self-worth worth $1, right? So $1 a day for the 21 days. So I'm doing that. So if you want to join me with this jumpstart for 21 days, let's go. The other thing that I'm doing, and this is for my public accountability, is I'm actually going to fix my own life. I'm going to fix my own life. I'm going to show you the behind the scenes. You're going to see the chaotic kitchen and the foyer and lots of other things over the 90 days, because I know in 90 days I can get my life together. How do I know? I've done it before. I've lost 30 pounds in 90 days. I changed my moods in 90 days to the point where I thought I didn't even have any mental health issues anymore, right? I know that actually even in between that time, that when I do certain things, my life totally changed. And so I want to be a public example to you. I want to also walk my talk, right? Because I've been feeling out of alignment. I've been given advice that I have implemented and learned, but I'm not doing that consistently in my life. So I want to be in complete alignment and complete integrity with the messages and advice that I'm giving you. And I want to show you that it is indeed possible when you do the right activities and things that you can totally shift your life, even when you have babies, even when you have an illness, right? And I did some of these things when I was working full time and in grad school. So even when you have those circumstances, even though that's not my life right now, but you can still get these things done, right? And even if you're married or if you're single, a lot of times we say we make excuses and all these qualifiers. No matter where you are in life, you can change your life. So if you want to join me in that, like I said, the 21-day revival is the jump start, but I am going to share information on the blog and pictures publicly with our community. So if you're not part of the community, go to blackwomenrise.com. And that's blackwomen with the E, rise.com, and join our accountability network. So you can get some of those emails, because I do send emails to our list first. With the update, so you'll get that, right, to let you know like how Quanisha is fixing her life over the 90 days. But if you want to walk with me on those first 21 days and get more direct how-to advice, right, not just the do these steps, it's like, well, this is how you do step 1, join me in the 21-day revival. So I hope you found this video useful. So once again, if your life is chaotic, some of the things you want to do that I shared. So for those who are just jumping in, just watch from the beginning. I share that you got to take 100% responsibility for your life. You want to create an ideal schedule, right, while you're calm, to actually plan out how are you balancing all these things, but starting with your life priorities first and put your business stuff in around that. You want to take an inventory, right? Really figure out, what do you want in your life? What are you desiring? And then the question after that is, ask yourself, do I feel that my wants, desires, and needs are worth honoring, right? That these things are important, right? They're just important as me taking care of my child or my family or showing up to my job. And then also you got to get clearly on your priorities and values, so that you know maybe there's some shifting that needs to happen. And the last thing was get support. And that's why I was inviting you. You could be in support with me, follow my journey. And then actively, the 21-day revival, what I will actually be taking you through some activities, and the link to that is in the chat. And there's a special promo. It's $21 for 21 days. So just $1 a day to get your life, right? So if you have any questions, like I said, I couldn't see the comments, but Facebook is saying there's comments here, so I will come back and answer them. And if you just want to be part of the Black Women Rise community, just go to Black Women Rise with the E, so WOMEN.com, so that you can get some of the updates on me getting my life together over the 90 days in service of you, and most importantly, myself and my family, so I can be a sane human being and show up well. All right, so have a good night, and I will talk to you later. Bye. Oh, and go ahead and join the challenge. Don't procrastinate. Get your life. Bye.